day, ladies and gentlemen! After being quite blown away by The Watcher in the Rain, I decided to try some more of Alec Worley's stuff. That's why today I'll be covering Perdition's Flame, which sadly enough doesn't really reach the same heights. Perdition's Flame starts rather promising, as we follow an inmate who is being transported on an Imperial ship. The ship is in disarray, however, as machines start malfunctioning, whispers are heard in the hallways, and a group of neurocultists is hot on its tail. I got quite excited, because the idea of someone being locked in this tiny metal box until their eventual doom sounded like a very promising horror tale. Knowing that your doom is coming, knowing how it could be stopped, but being unable to act or run because you literally can't, sounded really interesting, but sadly that is not where this story went. Instead, it rather quickly devolved into your average 40k shooty story, where the guard do some heroic guard stuff and the dead guard do some gross icky Nurgle stuff. If you've read any Nurgle book, you've heard all of this ad nauseum. Sure, poxwalkers are really gross and having to face your friends again as zombies is screwed up, but I've read this over a dozen times already. The story is in every way okay. It is decently executed, but the premise is extremely overused both inside and outside of 40k. The ending is interesting in a way, but for the most part entirely obvious. The descriptions are gross, but so is any other Nurgle book. The only really special thing about this book is that it features two very rarely seen factions in 40k. I won't spoiler who they are, but if you really are a lore fan like me, the story is still worth listening to, just to get an idea of what those two factions are like. So for my fellow lore nerds, I will put the names of the factions in the description, but do know that it will make the story less enjoyable if you know about them in advance. The biggest issue I have, however, with this audio drama is the actual audio. In The Watcher of the Rain, this was entirely on point. The voice acting was amazing, the effects were great, and the music was a subtle cherry on top. This story, however, is the polar opposite. The voice acting sucks. The main character has this fake Russian accent, but the voice actor fails to keep it consistent between his talking scenes and his voiceover scenes. Even worse is the side character, who not only utterly fails to keep her accent constant, but also fails to make any of her deliveries sound even close to convincing. The effects department too seem to be on drugs, as they fail to keep the las rifle sounds constant for longer than 10 minutes. One scene the las rifles sound like Star Wars laser pistols, and in the next scene they sound like everyone's playing Counter-Strike. Music as well was utterly over the top and ridiculous, almost as if they wanted to make jump scares just by blaring loud music into your ears all of a sudden. That being said, to end on something mockingly positive, the epilogue will make you laugh out loud. It is supposed to be really messed up and serious, but the tone just really isn't there anymore, and as a result it becomes extremely comedic. So while this entire thing is a bit of a cliche mess, I still think that there are some enjoyable parts here and there, so I will go with 3 out of 5 stars. I just expected a lot more out of it. So yeah, if you want to learn more about Redacted and Redacted, I'll link the audio drama down below. Otherwise, have a nice evening, and don't forget your nightly prayers to Nagash.
If you liked this video, please consider subscribing and click ringing the bell to appease the Great Horned Rat. For more lore content, please check my main channel and leave any book recommendations in the comments down below. I gotta get back to reading the next book.